let's start with this dynamic. There's nothing that you can improve in your personal professional life by simply enrolling a new student each and every day. So, but to pull that off, you have to have level one activity.
Yeah.
And level one activity is everything you do to get people to raise their hand and say, hey, tell me more about your membership, whether that's opting in online in response to an ad, or you out there shaking hands, kissing babies, inviting people to come into your academy. So level one activity is of paramount importance. So let's look back at the previous 9 months, well, 8 full months, and come up with a few ideas of what worked best in terms of generating leads. And let's start with online. So I think everyone on this call has an online budget. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, is it working for you? So if we went back and added up all the money you spent on ads in the last 8 months and you divided that amount by the number of leads it generated, where do you come in at? I mean, is it really working or are we not working it? And I'll share more about that in just a moment. So looking back at the first 8 months of the year, how much money was spent online? Does anybody know? Anybody want to share their numbers?
The first 8 months of the year?
Yes. Sifu Cup.
About $8,000.
All right, so you spend 1,000 a month. Now, can you guesstimate the number of leads that generated?
500.
Really? Wow. So let's divide.
Let me take a look. Now, a lot of those were when we were advertising for summer camp. We got literally hundreds of leads for summer camp. We enrolled about 80 summer campers. So that was a big part of our business. I don't want to do that anymore. So we're going to have to like make that up by enrolling evening martial arts people.
Okay. All right. So moving forward, after school and camps, or I told them, no, maybe this summer you'll do camps, or have you ruled that out?
I don't want to do camps anymore.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you've had enough.
It's mostly the headaches. We make money every year, but it's a headache. So
well, you don't get to keep enough of it, and the headache isn't worth what you get to keep.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah. But it's a different business that takes you further away from.
I think if you want to do after school and summer camp, I think you should do just that.
Yeah, it's a separate business.
Just focus on that, and that's it.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, but if you spend 1,000 a month and you generate 500 leads, your leads are about $16 per. Right.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's very good. Mr. Waddington, do you know?
I can try to make a guess. Probably about 9,500 spent. About 30 to 40 leads.
Okay, so we're guessing. Okay, so 9,500, 30, 40, so divided 4. That's expensive. Those leads are expensive.
And we had some technical difficulties that made some leads not work, but I think now things have been fixed and it's rolling now. I've got a lot to call.
Good.
Ms. Stevens, are you doing the math or what are you doing?
Doing the math, sir. Are you including having the actual pay that you're paying the person to advertise, or just on the advertisements?
Well, that's part of your hard cost. So yeah, I would include that. Yeah.
Okay. So in the last 8 months, I have spent 5,600 on leads, but that has generated about 9,000, 10,000 in new memberships.
Would you have an idea of the number of leads it generated? I mean, that's a good ratio.
180.
Wow. Okay. So 100, you take that amount. What was the amount again?
5,600 I've spent, 180 leads.
All right, well, let's do the math real quick. 5,600 divided by, you said 80 or 88?
180 leads.
I beg your pardon.
We're signing on the street, so.
I don't know why I can't figure it out. Somebody figure it out for me. So what's your per cost? So 100. So I'm sorry, 5,600 divided by 180 equals, so about $31 a lead. Okay. The reason I did this exercise, that Master Peshke and I visited with my instructor, a guy by the name of Bill Clark, if you guys know who he is. We sat down and he reviewed the numbers from all his studios, and in detail, he was able to report on all of them. Now, why am I even sharing this with you? Because I tell you, this is the life's blood of your business to know exactly what has happened, so we can take more assertive steps to make something happen. So, but lead acquisition is by far the most important first step. With the absence of leads, all is over. So remember, there are three ways to generate a lead: online, offline, inline. Online is what you pay for. Offline are all the grassroots marketing efforts that you do to promote your business. It could be booths. It could be being in the LA Fitness Center, introducing yourself to people. And then there's inline as far as what you do to generate referrals. But what I'd like for everyone to consider is this: in order to hit your number, the amount of gross income, you got to figure out, well, how many people do I actually need? And here's where you figure that out. You go back to last 8 months, and you add up all the money you've collected. Then you divide that number by the number of newly enrolled basic members. And that becomes your potential student value. So in the last 8 months, to say I was averaging 20 grand a month. So 8 times 2 is 16. So how much is that? $160,000. So I take $160,000 and I divide that by the number of new students I enrolled from my leads. So if you're averaging, let's say 8 people a month, that would be 64. So I divide that number by 64, and my average student value is about $2,500. That becomes the money, the amount of money you use to go after your goal. So if I wanted to make, let's say, $500,000, I need to divide 500,000 by 2,500, which means I have to enroll 200 students. And then if I divide that by 12, at a minimum, I got to enroll 16 students a month. And this is one of the things you can do to stay hyper motivated and sensitive to what actually has to happen.
Right.
Once you figure out what your average student value is, that is to say, every time you add a student, money opportunities are created. And based on what you do, will actualize that money. But typically what happens over the course of time, the way you operate your business is pretty consistent. So you're able to sort of measure what your student value is, and based on student value and the goal you want to hit, you know your number for enrollment. And I think, well, why is this so important? Because the hardest part of this job is staying on course. The hardest part of this job. And the way you can stay on course is to realize that your job is to market and sell memberships, starting with basic. And each and every day, you got to enroll a certain number of people to make that happen. So let's guesstimate. So far this year, take your gross income and divide it by the number of students who enrolled in basic. Well, Fred, will we count the upgrades? No, don't worry about the upgrades. Just the number of new students. So gross income divided by number of new students, and that's your student tuition value. So any monies you want to make between now and the end of the year will be determined by the number of students you enroll. Yes, ma'am, go.
The gross income on what we are taking as far as like the basic membership, or gross income?
All money. Because here's the way you have to look at it, Stephen. That's a good question. The moment you enroll someone, you just opened up this plethora of opportunity. Yeah, I can't pre-sell certification fees if I don't have a student enrolled. But if I have a student enrolled, based on how I ask for the certification fees, will determine the amount of money that shows up. So based on the way you do business right now, we can figure out what your student value is. In the next 4 months, whatever amount of money you want to generate, you just divide that by your student value, and that's the number of people you got to roll between now and December 31.
So what was the formula again?
The last 8 months,
Okay.
Total gross income, count all them nickels, dimes, and pennies, and divide that by the number of basic memberships that you enrolled. Families only count as 2. And that becomes your student value. Do you have it? Yes, hang in here. There's some of that math is not that much fun until you figure out what it actually means to you. So what's your number, miss?
Asking me. Oh, I'm not sure yet, sir. I'm counting.
Well, let me help you out. How much have you grossed?
68.5.
And how many people were enrolled in basic?
That's what I'm counting.
Okay. We'll patiently wait. For those who don't know, Ms. Stevens has a 2-night-a-week club that teaches 2 nights a week.
Yeah, 6,000. Yeah. Overhead, something like $400.
Should I come back? Oh, but she's still figuring it out. Do you have your number, Sifu Cup?
1909.
Okay, so here's the magic question. Between now and the end of the year, the next 4 months, how much money do you want to generate? Just pick a number.
40,000.
All right, so now let's divide 40,000 by 2,000. So you tell me how many students you have to enroll.
21.
It seems ridiculously easy now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, ma'am.
16
16 what?
new members.
All right, so divide 68.5 by 16.
16.5.
68.5.
Oh. So 4.2.
Yeah, let me do the math. $68,500 divided by 16. Was that the number?
Yes, sir.
That means your student value is $4,284.
Mm.
Wow.
That's nothing less than remarkable.
That's awesome.
So now you tell me, in the next 4 months, how much bacon do you need to bring home to the family? Because remember, bacon's expensive.
No doubt. No doubt.
We always keep high quality bacon at my house.
Yeah, that bacon.
I like it, sir.
And there's some high quality H2O.
I'm not sure the correct answer to that.
Well, how much do you want to make? You're the only one that has that answer. So
Oh, well, I want to break 100. So it's going to be 32. So 10 divided or 4 divided by 32, 100,000.
Okay, so it'd be 32,000. So 32,000
32,000 for the next 4 months.
divided by 4,200. So you just have to roll another 8 students.
Done.
Well, why don't we beat the rush and get it out of the way this month?
I'm on it, sir.
Is it now tell the truth, shame that devil. This is refreshing, is it not? I think what happens is that we deal with so much stress and strain. We're bombarded with all these negative thoughts, and we can't see clear how friggin' simple this business is. I can't think of a simpler business. No, I can. I saw one this weekend. It was a shaved ice stand. The line was about 40
I don't know,
people.
water's kind of expensive.
I bet that guy's killing it, right? I mean, $5 a cone. It's frozen water and syrup. But besides a shaved ice stand in the middle of Kings Beach in Lake Tahoe, I can't think of an easier business. So now the next question is, well, let me ask you, what should the next question be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do I get my 8 students now? So now what you do is you go back and look at what's been happening. Like on average, how many leads? On average, how many people showed up? On average, how many people converted? And then what this will do, this will allow your goal to take shape. Well, you realize how many hands and babies you got to shake and kiss, how many opt-ins you got to run after. It really is this simple. So for you to enroll 8 more students, you tell me, what's your conversion rate? On average, how many people have to come in to enroll 8 people?
Is it 16?
That sounded more like a question than an answer.
Oh, so July, I had 30 leads and I signed up 2 families and 3 basics.
All right, so 2 families would be 4 and 3. That's it. You got to repeat that every month.
Yeah.
But let's dissect it even further. So how many leads? You said 30 something?
30.
30. And if you look more closely at the 30, where'd they come from? How many for online, offline, and inline? How many from your web activities? How many from the promotions you do internally? And what have you done personally to build your business?
All online, sir.
All right. So based on what's happening now, are you setting a pace where you'll get another 30 leads this month?
This month, yes.
All right. Now, it seems so simple, doesn't it?
You make it seem so simple.
It is simple. What makes it difficult are how many different directions our attention is pulled.
Yeah.
I was on a call earlier today with a guy who's, well, he's not doing very well, but he's all excited about promoting to his next master rank. I said, you have no idea how expensive that rank has been. And I was able to get through to him, make him realize that you got to stay hyper focused on what builds your business. What builds your business is that level 1 activity. So if you generate another 30 leads, chances are you enroll 8 people. And with the way you're upgrading people, well, you'll hit your 100 grand. It's that simple. But let's not stop there. Why don't we make the decision that we're going to enroll 8 in September, 8 in October, 8 in November, 8 in December? Now, what would that do? That would turn that $32,000 into what? Maybe another 100. Oh, Fred, I can't do another 100,000. I'm in a small club. Why not? Why not? All right, so that's the way you have to go through this exercise to refocus. What in sports they call that something when you're distracted and you got to get back into the zone. What there's a term for that. It was interesting, Ms. Stevens, when you first opened your academy, how long did it take you to put students on the mat?
Oh, not that long.
Yeah, because all your energy was placed on putting students on the mat.
Enrolling. Yes,
And
sir.
then what happened was you shifted your attention from putting people on a membership to serving the people on the mat. And this is where the balance comes in. I think it's the 60-40 or 80-20 rule. The majority of your effort has to be based on enrolling new students.